Welcome to PixelTunes Radio,
a podcast where we have fun
talking about video games
and video game music.
I'm Mike.
And I am Ed.
And this is PixelTunes Mini Free Picks Mini Edition.
Yes, this is a show that we literally, like an hour ago, just came up with a concept for. We are sitting in our hometown of Connecticut right now. We are getting slammed with this ridiculous one-day snowstorm. We've got, like, at least a foot of snow out there at this point. And we were both bored, and we were texting back and forth, and we're like, hey, let's just put a show together. So we're actually talking over Skype this time, which we've never done before. We've always been in the same room.
That's true. It makes, when you're 5 minutes away from each other, it's kind of silly to do Skype calls, but in this circumstance, we were like, well, we kind of want to record something, but we can't really go anywhere, so...
Exactly. And so, you know, we've also been toying with the idea of putting a Patreon together, so we're putting this show out as kind of a way to say, maybe this is the kind of show that you guys might get if you were to be a Patreon donator to PixelTunes Radio, so keep that in mind. You know, we're going to keep this dirty. Not a lot of editing. Dirty birdie. And so, you know, if one of my kids comes down and decides he wants to hang out on the podcast for a couple minutes, I'm going to leave it in the show because who cares?
You're gonna be like, yo, if you want to be a dirty birdie.
You want to come be a dirty birdie on my show? This is getting weird already, and we haven't even started yet. You know, or if Mike's dog or cat come in and start barking up a storm, whatever, man.
They're already dirty birdies.
Dirty kitty, dirty doggy.
Yeah, there you go.
No, this is getting weird. So, anyways, we're going to do a short show today. We've got 4 tracks. It's kind of a free pick style thing. Mike, why don't you start us off with your first song?
All right, so this game is a Game Boy exclusive. Came out in 1991. The game is called Sneaky Snakes, and it is actually a sequel to Snake Rattle and Roll, believe it or not. So this track is stages 5, 8, 9, and 10, so it kind of works through all those stages, and it's composed by David Wise. So
allegedly by David Wise.
Allegedly. We really couldn't find any details, and we'll go into more about that after the break, so let's give it a listen.
Right.
Welcome back. That was Sneaky Snakes, and that came out in the Game Boy in 1991. The track was stages 5, 8, 9, and 10, and that was by, allegedly, David Wise.
I mean, we say allegedly, but listening to that track,
how could it not be?
Yeah, exactly. It's got his, especially if you've heard the Snake Rattle and Roll soundtrack, which is definitely credited to him. This sounds a lot like that, so...
Definitely. And yeah, this is a unofficial or official, I guess you could say it's an official sequel to Snake Rattle and Roll, one of my all-time favorite games on the NES. And this one is a little different. It's not isometric like the first game. It is side-scrolling from, you know, left to right or right to left. And you're going through trying to save. You're playing as one of, I think the snakes are the same. I think it's Attila and...
Barilla.
Yes.
Gorilla. Attila and Gorilla Snake.
Yes. and you're trying to rescue your female sister / love interest, Sophia, who's also a snake.
Sophia Snake.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is the name of the game. So yeah, it's side-scrolling instead of... It's got all the same like atmospheric elements of Snake Rattle and Roll. Just doesn't have that isometric view, and it's a little bit more like Donkey Kong Country
it's a crappy
Mario.
side-scroller.
Right. Well, not crappy.
Well, it didn't get very good reviews at all from what I read. People were saying it was pretty awful, so...
The controls are a little stiff, and the big complaint that I had about it was I didn't know how, like... It was very difficult for me to try to figure out secrets. Like, I would see something down below in a lower portion of the area and be like, oh, I want to get down there. But I couldn't get down there, so I'm like... All right, well, I guess I'll move on.
Secrets. Secret sneaky snakes.
Secrets. I almost said sexy secret snakes.
That's Sophia.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I dug it. Especially if you're a really big time fan of Snake Rattle and Roll, you'll really like this one. It's got that same like awesome 50s rock, like sock hop kind of style music that we played quite a bit in the previous episode that you picked a bunch of tracks from. So
I kind of went back in time for that free pick episode.
Yeah, seriously.
But I do. I like the bass kind of echoes back and forth to either speaker. Really cool stereo effect going on there. And then those drum hits are really, really heavy too. So it had kind of a very deep, kind of gritty feel to it.
Yeah, and of course, you've got that Game Boy style, which is really just naturally gritty. I wouldn't say it's quite Sawtooth bass style like, Castlevania 2 or anything like that, but it's definitely got a rough, gritty kind of take on the more 50s sock hop type stuff that you heard in the, prequel or Snake Rattle and Roll. So,
gotcha.
It's a unique game. If you can pick it up for cheap, definitely recommend it, especially if you're a big fan of Snake Rattle and Roll, because I literally didn't know this existed until about a month ago. So I picked it up, and it's pretty cool.
Nice. Very cool.
Cool.
All
right, what do you got for me?
I have a little game called Earth Joker UN Defense Force. This came out in the arcade in 1993, published by Visco. And the track is from Round 1, and it's by Hidetoshi Fukumori and a collective known as Space Creative.
All right, let's give it a listen.
And we are back. That was Earth Joker, UN Defense Force. The song was Round 1 by Hidetoshi Fukumori and Space Creative. This track reminded me, I don't know if you remember way back on our X68000 episode, we had that track called One Voice in the Cosmic Fugue from like the Hybrid Flamer or whatever it was called. You remember that track?
Vaguely.
It was like this super like cinematic, dramatic, the song faded in. Anyways, it really reminded me of this track when I first heard it. So, and it uses the same FM chip. They both use the YM2151, so a lot of the sounds were very similar. So, this one kind of caught me. It's from a vertical shooter, and it's like a really fast-paced first level, but the song itself is not that fast-paced at all. So they kind of mismatch each other. But the song by itself, I think, is really good.
I just think this song really builds. I mean, it's got this great introduction where it's just kind of building and building, and then, it doesn't there's no breakdown, so to speak. It's more like it just kind of ramps up and continues, and it doesn't really drop back down until the loop.
Right.
So, but I thought it was very powerful sounding, very Genesis, almost like Amiga-ish, so really good.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And I originally, when I was first listening to it, I thought the song was a little bit boring, but then those drums came in, and I was like, oh, all right, I see where the song is building to. And then after that, on the second loop, that boring part didn't seem so boring anymore, because I knew it was just like a build-up to where everything starts really going, so it was kind of neat. The composer we've talked about actually in the past, but not with Mike. We played a track from him previously. He wrote the soundtrack for Gun Frontier, which we featured on the Taito Arcade episode, which I think we put out while you were off getting married. So that was that was with Brian from Pixelated Audio. So he did Gun Frontier, Paka Paka Passion, Galaxy Angel, Hiro no Kakira, and I think Metal Black. Basically, he was a Taito guy. He went under the alias Puchin when he was writing music for Taito way back in the day. This game was actually published by Visco, so I don't know if Taito developed the game and Visco published it, or the other way around, or what. But
Puchin? Puchin sounds like, isn't that the fries with the gravy on it?
You're thinking of poutine.
Oh, poutine.
Poutine,
okay.
The Canadian favorite.
Yes, I'll take some poutine.
No, poutine, like you're pooping on a team, like P-U... I think it's P-U-T-E-I-N.
You're not making me want to eat it anymore.
I mean, it's gravy on fries, so it kind of looks like poo a little bit with enough gravy on there.
You're gravy on fries.
I am delicious. You are absolutely correct there.
Earth Joker, what a weird name for a game, especially UN Defense Force. I mean, is there really any kind of plot at all to this one?
Well, at the beginning, when there's a introductory scene, there's a bunch of... Hi, Logan.
Hi.
I'm in the middle of recording.
What are you doing?
I'm recording. I'm doing a podcast.
Oh boy.
So, what are you up to?
Excuse me, can you guys need to go upstairs? What was I saying? We were talking about poutine.
We were talking about how you're
Earth Joker. Yeah.
How you're an Earth Joker.
Yes. So what happens at the beginning of the game? It shows this big cinematic of these enemies that are coming down and blowing up the universe, etc., etc. And then it, for some reason, it shows all of the fake members of your squad on dog tags, but they're scrolling over this background where there's a whole bunch of playing cards. So that's as close as I can get to why it's called Earth Joker.
All right then.
Maybe your squad is named after playing cards or Joker, or I don't know. It doesn't really give you an explanation. I think it's just a cool, funky name that would probably draw your attention on an arcade cabinet.
Yeah, or it could just be English. Who knows?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. But, I mean, these guys worked on the Space Creative as well. They worked on a lot of Taito games with Hidetoshi Fukumori, such as Galmides and Drift Out. So, probably the two worked hand in hand with a lot of stuff. Maybe in-house Taito guys. Probably not Zuntata, but maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, Taito always had a lot of the interns or contractors, so it's possible that they were just kind of a third party that contracted to work on a couple of their games here and there.
Word. All right. Cool. Well, I definitely want to play that one. But here is a game that is another arcade game that also came out in 1993, believe it or not. This game's name is Zero Team USA, and this is stage 4-1 and also 5-1, and this is by Reiichi?
Reiichi. Reiichi.
Right, Reiichi Yamanaka. Let's give it a listen.
Awesome.
All right, welcome back. That was Zero Team USA. And if you don't feel like putting on a cape just yet, just give me a moment, because that was such a heroic track.
Seriously.
Yeah, that was an arcade game that came out in 1993. It's a beat 'em up, and that is stage 4-1, also 5-1 by Reiichi Yamanaka.
That poor guy.
Yeah.
All I can say, like, he wrote an ending theme, and then the programmers went and put it in, like, a gameplay stage.
Right.
Like, he must have been so pissed off about that.
Well, so here's a little background. So the game you're actually playing is 4 Japanese superheroes, supposedly, but they don't
From
look
Zero
like...
Team USA?
Yeah, I know, it's weird. They don't look like Sentai, though. Like, they don't... I don't know. They don't. They don't look like Sentai.
No.
You've got 4 different characters. You've got Ace and Speed, which kind of look the same. They're like the Mario and Luigi of the group, kind of. And then you've got Spin, who's the female, and then Big O, who's the big, who's the bigger, larger character. I don't know. There's a joke in there with Spin and the Big O. Like, hey, do you want to take a spin on the Big O? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Ace, Spin, Speed, and Big O. Those are the names. That's what they went with.
Legitimately the names of the characters.
I mean, fitting names for a team called Zero Team, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. Pretty weird. But yeah, so it's a beat 'em up in the style of, like Violent Storm. I'm trying to think of another one. Violent
Undercover
Storm.
Cops.
Yeah, Undercover Cops. Very similar to Undercover Cops. Very similar to Two Crude Dudes. It's got like the wasteland vibe kind of going on. And you can pick up various different items, just like in most beat 'em ups, like barrels and pallets and crates and all different sorts of things. You could also use like weapons like a stinger and a bazooka, but the bullets are pretty limited for the most part. Game is really short. You could probably beat it in like 45-50 minutes or so, like most beat 'em ups. But yeah, this one kind of slipped under the rug for me because I really just had absolutely no idea about it. So I don't know. Have you even heard of this one?
No, I've never heard of this. I think this might be a really good candidate for a PixelTunes Plays.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to try it out. Even at like a first look, even if it's crap, we can just stop playing halfway through.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
No, definitely. Yeah, this would be fun to play through in all honesty. Reiichi Yamanaka really doesn't have a lot to their name. Seeing Zero Team and then a follow-up, which is called New Zero Team. I've done a little research, and I don't think New Zero Team is actually a brand new game. It looks like either a reskin version of the original or a slightly tooled or retooled version of the original game. This game series...
so just like an upgrade for the same arcade cabinet kind of deal.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm not 100% sure, but it does kind of look that way. The manufacturer is Seibu Kaihatsu, and they have done a lot of different games like Raiden 2, Raiden DX, Viper Phase 1, Raiden Fighters, Olympic Soccer 92, and Seibu Cup Soccer.
Yeah, their claim to fame is definitely the Raiden series.
Yeah, that and Dynamite Duke as well. So, not too much to talk about regarding the game and the composer. Again, there is a possibility that Yamanaka worked on those other titles with Seibu Kaihatsu, but I couldn't find that much detail. So
yeah, and then this music again is just—it's very it's marchy and it's heroic. It just doesn't I can't picture this music being in a beat 'em up. Like it doesn't. They don't. There's like some sort of disconnect there in my brain. It doesn't fit.
It's funny that you mentioned that because this song reminded me a lot of. There's an Animaniacs track on the not the Super NES game, the Genesis game, that sounds very much like this. It's like got that like marchy, like kind of like upbeat, heroic style song.
A lot of the Warner Brothers music had that kind of a feel to it anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so that's very similar to this. And the fact that it's called Zero Team USA and they're trying to base it in the US, I believe, it maybe they're trying to go for that very similar, like, heroic type US style.
Maybe, like the Japanese take on US games or something like that, yeah.
Yep, definitely a possibility. But yeah, this one's cool. Definitely check it out if you're looking for a quick beat 'em up to toy around with for a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, what's our last track?
Last track of today is an old childhood favorite of mine. It's a beat 'em up that was on the PlayStation. It's called Kensei Sacred Fist, and the song is called Spot. The composers on this game were Akira Yamaoka, Kyoran Suzuki, and Norikazu Miura. Let's take a listen.
Cool.
Meh. And we're back. That was Spot from Kensei Sacred Fist. That came out on the PlayStation in 1998, composed by Akira Yamaoka, Kyoran Suzuki, and Norikazu Miura. And this was one of those games that I think I rented or borrowed back in the day or something like that. And in any case, I recorded the soundtrack while I had the game and kind of fell in love with it. It's got a very rich kind of production to it. There's a really wide stereo pan on this track. It takes you through a lot of nice melodies. You get those little chuggy guitars with the drums in the background. The game itself wasn't that great, but the music I thought was fantastic. What'd you think about this, Mike?
This one, I like this track, but the only thing I kind of felt was it felt like it didn't know what it wanted to be, because it had those like piano notes that made it kind of almost feel like I'm trying to think of the name of the guy who did, it's like Robert Miles or whatever, that song Children, that it's got that like floaty like da-da-da-da, like those pianos. Okay. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like a okay, well,
no idea.
Somebody will know. But yeah, that's kind of the way it sounds to me. Like, it's got this weird, like, piano kind of thing going on, and then it's got these random guitars that kind of come in, and the whole thing just feels very, like, spread out. It feels like there's just, like, a backbeat, almost.
It's like hard rock meets John Tesh, kind of.
Right. Yeah. That's actually really wildly accurate, yeah.
But I kind of like that, and the fact that, you know, I've been listening to the soundtrack for, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years now. I guess it all feels more cohesive to me because I know what to expect as I'm listening to it. Mm-hmm. The soundtrack itself is just widely varied. It's got Spanish music, it's got, you know, traditional Japanese style music, it's got some standard heavy rock, it's got like piano ballads like this. So depending on, you know, where you are in the game, whether it's a menu or a different stage in a different country, there are a lot of different types of music. So I feel like this song kind of like picks little pieces of a lot of the different genres that are in the game and kind of smooshes them together a little bit. So I thought it was great. I've been wanting to share this one for a while, so this was kind of my my way to throw it in there. Obviously, a lot of the composers we don't really need to go over too much. Akira Yamaoka, obviously, talked about him quite a bit on our Silent Hill episode. He is the main composer behind that series. Kyoran Suzuki only worked on Kensei Sacred Fist, credited as soundtracks composition, and then Gradius Gaiden the year before this in 1997, credited as guitar. So probably one of the people that you hear strumming away on this particular track.
Norikazu Miura also worked on Gradius Gaiden.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then Tokimeki Memorial 2, Winning 11, some of the Suikoden games. So, you know, kind of worked on quite a bit of stuff as far as, like, Konami goes. So, yeah, they're basically Konami guys that are working on Konami things.
Yes, you could definitely say that.
But yeah, no, I will say this game reminds me of Tekken, like big time reminds me of Tekken.
Oh yeah, I mean this was obviously Konami basically just looking at Namco and saying, "Hey, we can also make a Tekken game."
Right.
I guess from what I read, the reason why it never came out in the arcades was because it was very slow. It just didn't lend itself to like an arcade fighting environment. And, you know, it was kind of more of a tactical style fighting game where you would, you know, pick your moves and your hits and you can counter different moves with other moves, and there was kind of a more complex way of grappling and throwing and stuff, so it didn't really lend itself very well to the arcades at the time. You know, it's a decent game. There are some cool unlockable characters. There's this, like, one ridiculous death metal song that you can hear in the middle of the game, too. One of the unlockable characters has this like absurd, like screamy death metal vocal.
Oh boy.
A soundtrack,
nice.
Which totally doesn't fit at all with the rest of the music. So that kind of stuck out to me as well when I was a kid. It's the first time I ever heard any music like that.
So did this get a release in the U.S.?
Oh yeah, it came out in the U.S.
Okay. Yeah, because I'd never heard of this one. All the characters look like generic rip-offs of already established Tekken characters or like Virtua Fighter characters. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so again, not one of Konami's finest moments. However, the soundtrack was one of my favorites, kind of growing up around that time. I think I had just gotten out of 98. I was in college. Never mind being a kid.
Yo,
jeez,
you're old. I was in high school.
I am old. Yeah, I know.
That was this was second year of high school. No,
okay.
I think I was a freshman from 97 to 98. So, yeah, in the 98 to 99, 99 to 2000, yeah, because I graduated high school in 2001, so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of the soundtrack was definitely a product of its time, because there are definite grunge-influenced tracks. There are a bunch with guitar work that is definitely Akira Yamaoka, unmistakably. And I had no idea at the time because, Silent Hill was kind of brand new. I wasn't really into Yamaoka's work at that time, but now looking back at the soundtrack, I'm like, that's definitely a track that he worked on. So it was kind of cool to go back and pick through, knowing what I know now about these, this soundtrack. So that was kind of neat as well.
Yeah, it's got a cool rock vibe with some really nice, kind of chuggy guitar moments in there that really kind of fit very well. So I thought it was a well done track. I don't know if it really stood out to me personally, but I thought it was pretty well done.
Well, it stood out to me, damn it.
stomping your foot via Skype.
You better like this because I like it. My opinion is the right one.
This guy.
So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for the tracks that we have. So what are you doing, Mike? Are you staying in and staying warm, or are you going out and shoveling snow?
I was working all day from home and, working on, work stuff. And now I am off, so I'm going to go clear the snow with my wife. And, yeah.
Like she's the shovel? You're like using her as the snow clearing device?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go clear the snow with my wife.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go clear the snow with a snowblower, so you can use your wife. That's fine. I don't care.
That's cool. Yeah.
But I work for a school system, so they shut down our office today, which is actually the governor shut down the whole state today. That's how bad it is. So
jeez.
Only emergency people and like medical people are going to work today.
Right.
So I don't even think plows have come around our street yet. So I wouldn't even be able to leave here if I wanted to.
Right. Well, I think this was a nice little fun thing, and we want to hear from you guys, so let us know what you think of this on the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/PixelTunes Radio. You could also email us at pixeltunesradio@gmail.com, and we'll probably throw this one up on the YouTube page as well, youtube.com/dongold for all your PixelTunes Radio and PixelTunes Plays needs.
Absolutely, and we would love to hear feedback from you guys about this show, considering that if we're going to make it kind of a Patreon-oriented thing, we want to kind of cater it to the people that are really the hardcore fans that, would like to be our Patreon donators. So let us know what you think, and we will be happy to take that feedback to heart and, do whatever it is that we need to do to make it better. I don't know. I'm just rambling here.
You want me to juggle balls? I'll juggle balls. You want me to play?
Yes, except unless they're Mike's balls.
You want me to ball jacks? I'll ball jacks.
Yikes! You can play ball jack. We should do a PixelTunes plays ball jacks. That would be fun.
You want to wreck my balls with Iggy? All right, let's do it.
Oh my God, we can do a balls-oriented PixelTunes plays. Dude, we can do Iggy's wrecking balls.
We could
do
play
face
balls.
We can do ball jacks.
Balls the game.
Just balls.
Balls. Just balls all day, all night.
So many balls.
So many balls.
Oh yeah, balls. Balls with a Z, right?
Yeah,
that was like a fighting game?
Yep.
This is a good idea.
Yes.
Maybe we can make that a Patreon-only PixelTunes play.
Hey guys, want to check out our balls? Hey guys, want to check out our balls?
Yeah. Perfect.
All right. I'm gonna go clear snow. Everybody,
Same here.
Have a good night, and let us know what you guys think of this little, kind of experiment.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see you next time.
All right. Peace out, guys.
Bye.